The realtor's listing called it a handyman's dream. For Leo, it was a last resort. The peeling Victorian on the edge of town was the only thing in his budget after the divorce. It wasn't the sagging porch or the fungal smell that bothered him. It was the silence. No birds sang in the overgrown garden. No insects buzzed against the grimy windows. The first door appeared on his second night. Leo was sure the hallway leading to the bathroom had only 3 doors: linen closet, bedroom, bathroom. But as he fumbled back from a midnight glass of water, there were 4. The new door was made of dark, unvarnished wood. Slightly a cold, mineral draft seeped from the crack. He chalked it up to exhaustion and shut it firmly. The next morning, it was gone. Days passed, filled with the sweat and sawdust of renovation. Leo fought the house's entropy, replacing floorboards, patching plaster. The house fought back. Tools vanished. The smell of damp earth and ozone intensified, and the door returned. Never in the same place. Once at the end of the basement stairs, another time in the kitchen where the pantry should be. Each time, it stood a little more open. He started hearing the whispers. Not voices, exactly, but a soft, shifting sound, like many pages turning in a distant library. They came from behind the walls, always receding as he pressed his ear to the plaster. The breaking point was the photograph. Leo found an old, sepia-toned picture tucked inside a wall he was insulating. It showed a Familia Sevilla man, a weary woman, and a small boy with wide, anxious eyes posed on the house's front porch. Scrawled on the back in frantic cursive, asterisk, it gets hungry. It makes doors. Asterisk that night. The door appeared in his living room, wide open. Through it, he saw not another room, but a long, impossibly straight corridor of the same dark wood, lit by faint, pulsing embers, set into the walls. The whispering was clear now, a chorus of faint, desperate pleas. Asterisk, turn back. Asterisk, they seemed to sigh. Asterisk, it's almost your turn. Asterisk, he slammed the door. It vanished an hour later, but the house had changed. The layout was wrong. Rooms he'd just painted were now unfamiliar, corners too sharp, ceilings too low. A new, smaller door appeared in his bedroom, child-sized. From behind it, he heard the sound of a boy crying. Leo's sanity began to unspool. He saw figures in the periphery of his vision, silent, watchful shapes that melted into the walls. The house was no longer a structure. It was an organism, and he was in its gullet. The final door appeared in the center of his kitchen floor. It was grand, ornate, and throbbed with a sick, warm light from its keyhole. The whispers were an orchestra now, a symphony of swallowed lives. He knew, with absolute certainty, that the original family was in there, that the hungry thing had made a door for them, too. He tried to flee, but the front door, the real one, was gone. In its place was seamless, flower-patterned wallpaper. He ran to a window, but the garden outside was a distorted reflection, a painted mockery of freedom. The house had sealed itself. Exhausted, leaning against the pulsing, ornate door, he felt the knob turn from the other side. It wasn't malice he sensed, but a vast, empty need. The house wasn't haunted. It was the haunt. A collector, a digester of souls, and it was done. waiting. The last thing Leo saw, as the door swung inward unto a blinding, fleshy light, was his own front hallway, reflected in its surface. Standing there, watching him with his own eyes, was a version of himself holding a toolbox, looking hopeful. The next owner had already arrived. The realtor would list the house again in a week. A curious lack of dust. A strange, appealing sense of possibility. A real handyman's dream.